Nothing says winter like a bowl of spaghetti squash with fresh homemade pesto. Two spaghetti squash, extra virgin olive oil, toasted pine nuts, parsley for garnish, fresh basil leaves, Parmesan cheese, pine nuts, cayenne pepper or chili flakes, garlic, olive oil, and a little bit of sea salt and black pepper to taste. Now let's tackle the squash. If slicing it feels like you're trying to break into Fort Knox, here's a hack. Preheat your oven to 375 and bake the squash whole for 10 minutes. This softens it just enough to make slicing a breeze, and it's way safer too. Once it cools slightly, cut it in half lengthwise and scoop out the seeds just like you would a pumpkin, and then you're halfway there. Okay, now let's deal with prepping this spaghetti squash. Go ahead and put some nice olive oil inside the squash. I either use a brush to brush it in, or I just rub it in with my hands, not a big deal. Then you want to season it with some salt and pepper. Then place it face down on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Now it goes into the oven at 425 for about 30 minutes. Every oven is different, so you want to check it over time. But while that's baking, we can move on to the pesto. You want to put the basil leaves into a food processor or a blender. Next, add your toasted pine nuts. Make sure you spread them evenly throughout the food processor. Then your beautiful Parmesan cheese. Oh my goodness, it smells great. And 1 clove of garlic. I put all the seasonings in at once, salt, pepper, cayenne, and then my olive oil. Simply place the lid on your food processor and give it a few pulses. I like to kind of do a little bit at a time, check it, and there it is. Look at how beautiful, green, and vibrant that pesto is. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this. I guess I felt like I needed to do a few more pulses, but anyways, you can always do that. By the way, if your pesto is too thick, add a little water. In the meantime, you can remove the spaghetti squash from the oven and then start scraping down the sides, and make sure you keep those strands nice and long. So work on the sides, don't go top to bottom, go side to side. All right, and there it is, your beautiful spaghetti strands from that squash. Then I like to take a really pretty bowl and just scoop out all of that delicious, gorgeous spaghetti squash. There it is. Oh my goodness, so pretty. Did you know spaghetti squash is super high in fiber? Look at this, it's so good. Anyways, just add the pesto next, then extra toasted pine nuts, a little bit of red chili flakes, and give it a gorgeous toss. And look at that, you've got spaghetti squash with pesto. It's actually a really quick, easy, and healthy meal. It just takes a few minutes to put together and a little patience, and there you go. Gorgeous spaghetti squash with pesto, garnished with some pine nuts and some fresh basil. Here it is, spaghetti squash and homemade pesto. Remember to like, save, share, and that you are deeply loved by God.